folks, welcome back to another What's in There video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Horrors of the Sands expansion for Village Attacks. This is put out by Grimlord Games, and it is one of the first expansions that brings in some new stuff. So let's get down to the table. I'll show you what comes in it, and then we'll come back with some thoughts on it later on. So as we get down to it, we're going to take a look at the Village Attacks Horror of the Sands expansion, and this is going to come with a good bit amount of stuff in here. So let's go ahead and open the box, and as you can see, it comes with a great number of miniatures. We'll take a look at each one of those in just a few moments. Then you're also going to be getting 12 different monster ability tokens that are going to go onto your monsters to denote, you know, what they've leveled up and that type of thing. You're also going to get 3 new tiles, and they are double-sided, as you can see. And then you're also going to be getting 4 new hero tiles that can be used during the spawn phase. Then there is a summoning deck, which the summoning deck is going to be, we'll go over that in just a minute, but this has every single monster that's in the game right now. And so you have the ability now to summon monsters to help you. And then of course, you also are going to have each of the different monsters that are here. So you have the Jinn, you have the Mummy, you have the Efreet, and then you also have the Ghoul as well. So let's take a look at each one of these. And so first off, we have the Ghoul, the cursed monster in this expansion. They have spaces for 2 dice on each defense, reserve, and movement. They start off with Subsume Essence, which says it takes 2 magic symbols to activate it, and it says activate any monster's ability in range. The ability cannot have already been used this round, cannot be used after you have activated it, and is activated as if the target monster had done so. Any experience gained is awarded to you. So that's a pretty neat situation. The upgraded version of it is you only have to use 1 of the magic symbols. Woe, if you pay to upgrade it, target zone becomes unlucky, and then you can upgrade that even further to where you don't have to pay a magic symbol to do that. Then you also have Deception, which says trigger a trap in range immediately. If the trap would deal damage, it deals half its damage rounded up, and it takes 1 attack symbol in order to do that. And of course you can level that up, and it says trigger a trap in range immediately. So the upgraded version gets rid of this half damage rounded up. So that is the Ghoul. Here is the miniature for it. So it's pretty neat. If you look at the illustration here, pretty creepy, matter of fact. So that's that, the Ghoul. And so the Efreet is here. They have 1 space for defense, 3 for reserve, and 2 for movement. The special ability that they start with is Flaming Soul. At the start of your turn, choose a villager to suffer burn. Also, you can never suffer burn. That's pretty cool. Then if you want to upgrade it, at the start of your turn, 2 villagers can suffer burn, and then of course you also don't suffer burn continually. Infernal Touch here says place a damage for 1 magic face. It says place a damage token on a peasant within range, and when this peasant is slain, deal 4 damage to its zone. The peasant is slain at the end of the round if nothing slays it beforehand. All right, so that's pretty neat. And then you can upgrade that to place a damage token on a peasant, dealing 8 damage instead of just 4. So it's basically the same thing, it's just a little bit more powerful. Well, twice as powerful. Nova here says you can stun 1 peasant or hunter in every zone within range. Wow, that's pretty cool. Takes an attack symbol to do that. And then it says you can stun up to 2 peasants or hunters in every zone within range. So that's pretty cool. The Efreet, pretty nasty. The model mini here is pretty neat as well. Pretty neat looking wings, and the swirl of flame down at the bottom. Just a pretty cool model. And then next we have the Mummy, and the Mummy has 1 spot for defense, 3 for reserve, and 2 for movement. The special ability here says each time you slay a villager, you may move 1 villager to the same kind in that zone, 1 zone in any direction. So when you slay a villager, you can move another villager of that type 1 zone if you use a magic symbol to do that. The upgraded version of it says that you can move that zone 2 zones in any direction. So this version is only 1 zone, and here you can move them 2 zones. The volatile incarnation, it says move unhindered to an adjacent zone. The zone moved to suffers 2 damage. Wow, that's actually really cool. And then here it says move, it suffers 3 damage instead. When you can move to that space. And then Soul Siphon. Soul Siphon says remove damage tokens from you or any monster in your zone equal to half the number of peasants in target zone rounded up. Okay, cool. You have to use a ranged attack symbol for that. The upgraded version, remove damage tokens from you, any monster in your zone equal to half the number of villagers in target zone rounded up. Oh, okay, so not just peasants, any villagers at that point. All right, that's cool. So that's a cool upgrade as well. The miniature, it looks like they took somewhat of a Middle Eastern, maybe, approach to this Mummy, which is interesting. But it looks cool. It's a neat model. It's got some pretty good movement to it. I like that as well, where they have action poses instead of just standing still. So that's a cool model. And here we have the Jinn. The Jinn is not your Aladdin's lamp Jinn, of course. He is evened out 2 spots. Okay, and so looking at his special ability here, Cruel Trick, if you use a magic ability, any retaliates used by you in defense damage a second villager of the same kind in the attacker's zone. So that's pretty cool, and then that can be upgraded to any retaliates damages a second villager in the same kind in the attacker's zone. Okay, so basically the upgrade here is that you just don't have to use that magic symbol. All right, next one is Ruinous Flail, and this one says that each time you slay a peasant or hunter with an attack, a melee attack, you may stun another villager of the same kind in your zone. So you have to use a defense die in order to do that, and then the upgraded version takes away the requirement for activating it, and it says each time you slay a peasant, you can stun another villager in that zone. And then Banish here has the ability of moving up to 2 peasants in your zone containing a villager to a spawn point. You have to use a melee attack to do that, and then the upgraded version says you can move 2 peasants or hunters in your zone to any zone containing a villager spawn point. So that's pretty cool as well. The model here, that Ruinous Flail, is probably, as you can see here, one of the bigger illustrative points of the model, but he is rather foreboding, yes, but neat model nonetheless. It also comes with 3 new tiles for building your different scenarios and whatnot. They are double-sided, of course, as you can see here. And I'll show you these other sides as well. So they are all double-sided, so that's what you get there. And then you also have this summoning tile. Now, I'm keeping that out because we need to talk about the actual summoning deck that comes in the expansion. So basically, the way summoning works is that you can summon any of these monsters, the monsters players that is, can summon any of these monsters to come and attack for them. The caveats being is that you can't summon any of the player monsters that are already in the game, and you can only have 1 of each type in the deck. So there is that. You just can't summon just anybody. You do have to build a deck as you would a hero deck at the beginning of the game. So the way this works is that if a monster comes in here and desires to spend a token on one of these, they can do that. Once all the monsters that are in the game have spent 1 of these tokens on all of them. So one person has done a retaliate, one person has done a melee attack, one person has done a magic, one person has done a defense. Then you can draw the top card of the deck, and that becomes the monster who has been summoned to come help the monsters defend the castle. So that's what summoning does. So it also comes with 4 new town heroes. The Gypsy is enhanced, which means that they are immune to all damage from arcane monsters, attacks, and abilities. So of course, when they come out, they're going to be going after the arcane monster in the game. And then as you can tell here, she does 6 health, she has a 2 movement speed, she does 3 damage, and then she has a range of 0, which means she's only a melee attack. So there's that. And then you have the Assassin. The Assassin only has 4 damage, but he moves 3 and damages 3, and has a range of 0 to 2. So that's pretty nasty. Other special abilities down here, reflexes. The Assassin can only be damaged by melee attacks. So you can't damage him with ranged attacks. Over here, the Muharib has, wow, 9? Is that right? Oh my goodness. All right, so that's 9 damage, a movement of 1, and damages 2. Can only damage in melee range. So here, Protector. The Muharib must always be attacked before any other villager in his zone. And he's going to be going after the Cursed one. The Assassin is going to be going after the undead monster of the game. And then here, the Djinn Trapper has 5 health, 2 movement, 2 damage, and can attack up to 1 space away from his zone. Ethereal Shackles. When the Djinn Trapper spawns, the 2 closest monsters suffer Sunder, Silence, and Slow. Well, that's pretty nasty. Now, when you play with the Yunfake Hunters, they are going to be used in such a way that whenever you spawn any hunters at all, half of those hunters are going to be the Yunfake Hunters. Now, the difference is that they cannot be damaged by ranged attacks, so you have to be up close and personal in order to damage them. And any attacks made from outside their zone also won't hurt them, but they can still be affected by other abilities that would not damage them, such as, movement attacks and that type of thing as well. They do count as a different kind of villager, so there is that if it's necessary. But the Yunfake Hunters are pretty nasty. So that's about that for the Horrors of the Sands expansion for Village Attacks. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of better idea of whether or not you want to purchase this for your Village Attacks collection. But hey, who are we kidding? You're going to buy all this stuff anyway, right? Well, at least you have a little bit more justification because now you know exactly what you're buying. So with all that being said, I did want to mention one thing. The box doesn't come with any rules in it, and that's because the rule explanation for the different things that come in the expansion are already in your core game rulebook on pages 22 and 23, I believe. So don't look for a rule set. You're not missing anything. It's already in your core box rules. So that's it from me, and hopefully I've showed you exactly what comes in it so you can make a better decision on your purchase. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.